Okay, we're back with the 2003 Saturn Ion with a 2.2 EcoTech. What I'm doing today is I'm changing the idle air control sensor. I'm planning on taking off the throttle body. I think the idle air control sensor is, hold on one moment. I think it's the guy there on your right. The guy on your left, I'm pretty sure is going to be your throttle position sensor. So let's go ahead and get after it. You can see this, that worm gear right there. It's an 8mm. I'm going to take that loose. And I'm going to take off this cover here. Maybe disconnect this boot, or I'll just take the whole air intake off. And then we'll get started. Okay, so it looks like after getting this off, of course this string will stay behind, it looks like. But this looks like your idle air control valve. Here's the replacement here. Looks exactly the same. It does not look like that I need to take off the throttle body in order to get it off. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the throttle body on for now. And if this doesn't fix my problem, then I will tear off the throttle body and give it a good cleaning. Because it only took me 5 minutes to get into here, so. And it's really cold and I don't really feel like staying out here much longer. Okay, so I pulled the old one out. It is, one moment. Here's the old one here. It's in pretty bad shape. Well, I don't know if it's terrible shape, but it's got a lot of carbon buildup on it. This vehicle has been experiencing high revs at start, almost dying. A lot of things that have to do with the idle air control, really. And I know that I should properly diagnose it, but I figured for the $10, or I think it was $10 or $20 for it, I just would hurry and toss it in and see if it made a difference, and if not, then go from there. Because it definitely seems like a throttle issue, or a throttle body issue. I'm gonna say it's even possibly needs to be, the throttle body needs to be cleaned. So, but we're gonna put this back together and see how it works. If it runs better than it did before, fantastic, we'll call that good. Okay, so I got it reassembled. Make sure it's back on your case vent there. Your idle air temp, put back on your box, make sure your air filter's in. Tighten that worm clamp up down there. Don't forget to plug in your IAC. I'll put down in the link all the tools that I used. It only took me a couple minutes to replace it. There you go, that's replacing an idle air control valve on a 2003 Saturn Ion. Tools you'll need for the job: a T20, an 8mm to loosen the worm clamp unless you want to use a screwdriver, pliers to get off that hose, and that's everything unless you want to take off the throttle body, in which case you're going to need a 10mm socket and you're going to take out these 4 bolts and pull the thing off. I don't know about your guys' vehicle, but in mine, you have to have it out about that far. I might measure with the caliper and give you a picture of it, but you have to have it out about that far, or else it'll rev right up to like 8 grand. And it took me half an hour to figure out what's going on, but I think that's what it is. Tried to clean this one up, but I figured, you know what, if it's intermittent, may as well put in the new one. So I just adjusted the size out to about that, plugged it in. And now oh, I didn't plug it in. Anyways, so I plugged it in. Now it starts and runs like it used to. I don't know if it's going to kill or not, but it does run rich. Part of that I think is due to spark plugs. The other part is probably due to the vacuum leaks. So I'm going to put the whole thing back together, see if it runs any better, see what it does. I'm going to go clean the brake clean out of my eyes. Okay, so what ended up happening, this video that you're seeing here of this caliper is the adjustment on the gap between the pintle shaft and the end of the IAC. And how much I adjusted it, I adjusted that much for me to, that's about how much it was when I pulled it out. I had to guess, I shrunk it back in. On this next one that you're going to see is going to be the repair manual, and it shows how far in it's supposed to be. I tried that, and that's what made it rev so high. I also tried the reset process that you'll see here in a second that it shows on the computer. Neither one of those worked. Pulling it out that far made it work. It no longer tries to die, but it still has a misfire. I think it's because of the spark plugs. I'll make a video on that possibly later. But if you do have a problem, I recommend pulling out on that pintle shaft a little bit on your IAC if your place in it has a problem.